in order to be able to maintain his wife. But when he marries her, the property and the wealth that he brings into the marriage is his. And the property and the wealth which she brings into the marriage is hers. He has no right to her property. And she has no right to his property. He has a duty, however, to maintain her from his property, unless she places at his disposal her property. If a divorce takes place, then when she leaves with her property, and he leaves the marriage with his property. At all times in the marriage, what is his, and what is hers. Not like someone who said to her husband, what is mine, and what is yours is mine. Subhanahu wa ta'ala in His wisdom has ordained laws of inheritance. And laws of inheritance are synchronized, connected with the functions of the male and the female. In consequence of which a son gets 2 shares to a daughter's 1 share. The modern godless world denounces that as discriminatory against women. No, should be equal share. Why 2 shares for a son and 1 share for a daughter? The answer? Because he, the son, has an obligation to maintain his wife. Whereas she, the daughter, does not have any obligation to spend from her own wealth to maintain herself. This is why he gets 2 shares to her 1 share. The modern godless world says, well, we don't need a man to maintain us. Women can maintain themselves. Men don't have to maintain them. Well, the only way a woman can maintain herself is if she also goes out and works the way a man works, to be able to earn her livelihood. And in the process, will she become just like a man? Which brings us to another verse of the Quran on the subject of the mechanics of marriage in Islam. The first one was Qawwam, men having a measure of authority over women. A man must maintain and guard and protect, in consequence of which women must be obedient to their husbands, to Allah and the Messenger of their husbands. But now we come to the second verse, second passage from the Quran, on the mechanics of the male-female relationship in marriage. It's a particularly beautiful passage. And I was sitting in a conference in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Must have been the year 2001, I think, 2000. It was a conference on business in Islam, organized by the International Islamic University. And they put me to sit down up in the front row, Sheikh Imran. And on the platform was the Deputy Prime Minister, Anwar Ibrahim. And then someone came forward to recite the Quran at the beginning of the program. And as he was reciting, Allah revealed to me what I didn't know before. Praise is due to him. I had heard the ayat many times before, but I've never understood it the way I understood it at that moment. Praise be to Allah. It came like a flash. Today I received an email from one of the most outstanding Muslim women of Australia, a white woman who became Muslim. I wish she could come to Trinidad sometime. Our sister Shifa Mustafa. Shifa Mustafa wrote to me today saying that she had read an article, an essay I'd written on the philosophy of gender in Islam. And as she read that essay, it reminded her of a video of a lecture of mine that she had seen. Now Shifa Mustafa had never met me. And in that lecture, I had dealt with this passage of the Quran, and it was absolutely astonishing to her that for the first time she had understood what Allah was saying in this passage of the Quran on the philosophy of gender. Here is the passage. Allah says, He takes an oath. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَى. He takes an oath by the night. What does the night do? The night shrouds, it covers, it conceals with such beauty and splendor, in such a mysterious way. يَغْشَى. وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا تَجَلَّى. And then Allah went on to take another oath, an oath by the day. وَمَا تَجَلَّى, and by its bright light, dazzling light, nothing concealed, nothing hidden, everything open, opposite to each other, the night and the day. And then he went on in the third verse to say, وَمَا خَلَقَ الذَّكَرَ وَالْأُنثَى. He now takes the institution of gender, the phenomenon of gender, and he likens it to the phenomenon of the night and the day. And it was that link which was revealed to me while I was sitting there in that conference, like a flash. That there is an analogy between the night and the day, and the male and the female. And if you did not understand what Allah was saying, now He comes in the fourth verse to tell you what is already implicit in the third verse. Now He makes it explicit. إِنَّ سَعْيَكُمْ شَتَّى. إِنَّ سَعْيَكُمْ لَشَتَّى. You are functionally different. The male and the female are functionally different. You have different functions to perform, but you can't do without each other. You are interdependent and yet functionally different. You are interdependent and yet functionally different. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, about the interdependence. He said, women are the twin halves of men. Twin halves. That establishes the interdependence. And the Quran speaks and says the same thing. قُلْنَ لِبَاسٌ لَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ لِبَاسٌ لَهُنَّ. They are your garments, your clothing. You can't do without clothing. You can't do without clothing. They are your clothing. You can't do without them. And you are their clothing. They can't do without you. And so you are interdependent. So why this fight? Why this adversary?